All right, everybody. Thank y'all for joining the Luminous Conversations podcast. If you don't know, now you know. We are here talking about talk a little bit, put a dent in the river about mushrooms and their impact on humanity as a whole, and how mine, as well as our guests coming on, experiences may assist you and others around you to explore their own adventure, you know, within what is to be had and seen and felt from embarking on the mushroom journey. It's quite beautiful, I tell you. It really is. And just can y'all let me know if the music is too loud? Let me know if you can hear me okay. We are live on this Luminous podcast. This is like my first one ever being live and just having it on like a live platform as well. And so it's interactive. It's just like the mushroom. I feel like this whole episode has been, let me put this on. Trusting, surrendering to, things being, because with mushrooms, you have to surrender. So I feel like this episode coming on and starting up has been about surrendering and trusting, because my guest was feeling, I guess, berated with time. But I'm like, when you're on mushrooms, you can't deal with time. So I'm like, okay, mushroom is teaching every moment that until you learn to surrender, you're gonna always feel like you rushing. If y'all remember in Alice in Wonderland, the white rabbit, I'm late, I'm da 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 da. There's no rush, because what is time? But what was he late for? He made it on time for everything. And that's what I had to realize with this episode, just starting to record, get recorded, because we were originally going to do it the day before today, which was on Tuesday. Now we're at Wednesday, but I let the guest Ed know, like, hey, it's okay, because everything is as it should be, and everything. And I told them, I said, you can't rush the mushroom. And that's one thing I have learned on my journey with mushroom therapy. You cannot rush the mushroom. And if you are trying to have some experience so bad, you will get what you don't want. And that is oftentimes when you hear people talk about their traumatic, for less of better words, experiences or trips about or from the mushrooms. Because when you are not in the right mindset, in the right headspace, you make sure I invite him again so he'll know like I'm on, because he said it wasn't on last time. He probably think I'm still not on here. But when you are trying to, have some experience, the mushroom got it. And when I said the mushroom is connected to spirit, to source, to God, the universe. The mushroom is connected to the whole entire planet. Mycelium. Talk about it. It's the roots of this place. So it's not your time. It's God's timing. If you want to relate it to the wordings, it's like you are unable. There's a sense of control, yes, but surrender is the word that I'm looking for. Trusting that things are going to happen as they're meant to. Trusting that things are going to flow as they are meant to. Amen. Moon. All right. So I'm going to do a little intro of how I met our guest as he's making his way here. As I was making my way out of California, I was just in California for the past almost year. And I ended up staying at a hostel. Just like the movie when they was killing people. Lord. And so, against my willingness to surrender, I stayed there. And I could say I should have been there earlier, but all in divine timing. And so, me just letting go and surrendering to this idea of staying in this place, excuse me, where I'm with all of these other people in the same fucking room, excuse me, that I do not know. Is sleeping together. Baby, it went against everything in my natural, physical, human mind. What the hell? No, it's the hell no. I would rather have spent more money other places than I did. And I knew it. You know when you hear it. You know when you hear that initiative or that initial voice, like, bitch, you better go on over there. But you don't wanna. You be like, I don't want to go. It's not for me, right? Y'all know that's not for me. You trying to convince yourself of that's not for me, and it's exactly where you're meant to be. And I was like, okay, I'm here in this place. All right, cool. It might have been a little bit odorous. There was some aromas in there, you know. And I had to. There you are. I'll pull you up in just a second. And I had to just be okay with the space. And there were people I got to meet, you know, I got comfortable, and there was a guy who was selling some herbs, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I saw our guest in the room on the other bunk, because I was on the top bunk at this hostel. And I was like, I wonder if he smokes. So, I'm going to pull you up. I think I can pull you up. Yeah, I will. So I got to, you know, get the herbs, and we ended up, you know, connecting with the marijuanas. That's like a doorway when you know, you just know. And so we ended up talking about the shrooms, and then we was like, yo, well, let's talk about it live. And so here we are today, and our guest has just arrived. I'm gonna pull you up now. Let's pull you up, and make sure y'all can hear me okay too. Did I pull you up? This is my first time doing this with a guest. Well, is it? On the live version anyway. But long story short, if it didn't work, let me know. We ended up, you know, connecting on that level of the psychedelics. And you know, I'm always open to learning. Always, always. And you always learn. You can learn so much. And so I was like, look, you got stuff that you can share that we need to hear, okay? Yo!
Hey, yo, what
What's
up?
up? Can you hear me?
Hear me clearly? I can.
Huh?
I can hear you clearly. Can you
Okay.
hear me clearly?
Cool. Yes. Let me turn it up. That was my fault.
What's good?
How we doing?
Good. I
Yes.
like this. What does it even mean? I see you do this all the time.
Oh, it's a version of the peace sign, but what people have said and what they, you know, kind of incited about, it's like division.
Oh, cool.
Peace. Like you
Cool.
dividing. So
Like it
I'm like,
channels your energy.
yeah, and this is like together. Hey,
That's
what's
very,
up? You know?
very wholesome. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me here. Are we on live
We
right
are
now? That's crazy.
live right now.
Does that
We
mean
they so now
that people who follow me can see me going on live?
yes.
That's
Yes.
crazy. That's crazy.
Amen, though. And so they can join and they can see the name of the live. It's
Yeah.
LC Podcast Mushroom Talk. So that's what I just labeled it on here. So people will know it's talking about mushrooms.
Yeah, and
So
are we recording right now?
yes, it's recording, and I'm gonna save it,
Yeah.
and I'll send it to you too,
Put it on
and then yeah,
Spotify or
no,
something.
it's
Make it
gonna go on Spotify. Yeah,
official.
that's
We're going
where it's
viral.
going.
Yeah, let's go.
And we're recording right now, on the podcast for Spotify too.
Cool.
So this is like two separate recordings
Uh,
going on. So what I've
uh,
just been doing, because I've been on for like 10 minutes, but I guess it probably didn't register that I was live again on your side. But we were just talking a little bit about how we met, mushrooms, and now you're here. So if
yeah.
you would give us like a mini intro of who you
Mini.
are, and
Okay.
yeah, and like your connection with mushrooms, just a slight way, and then we get into it. And then tell us about New York a little bit.
Mini intro?
Yeah.
Damn, you just put me on the spot like this.
Yes. You got
Like,
this.
okay, my name is Ed. I think I would describe myself as a psychonaut, even though like I don't think I have a lot of like experience in mushroom, but I do have experiences in like LSD. I take acid more
Mhm.
often. But yeah, I do really like mushroom. Actually, for a fact, I just took mushroom, I think the day before yesterday, so this week on Monday. I just took mushroom, but it was like a microdose. I didn't have like full-blown version or anything like that.
That's
But
fun.
yeah, but yeah, I really do like mushrooms, and I'm really happy to like share my experience and stuff like that here, right? And a little bit about New York. I just moved to New York actually, and I love it here. It's so unhinged. Like the East Coast is really different, and yeah, I feel like there's also a very big psychedelic community here. Like you get to walk around and see people like selling mushrooms and stuff. That's like very
Really?
cool. Yeah, in time,
Like on the street?
yeah, like it's like almost like a food stall. Like you get to see people just like selling mushrooms and weed on the street. And we're in um yeah, Central Park.
That's dope.
That is
Oh my God.
so
Because, I mean, just a quick pause. When I came to California
yeah,
and I saw the mushrooms in the shops,
exactly.
shit blew my mind. And I was like, I don't have to go, look for a dealer real quick, even though I found people who do and they deliver and
Yeah.
stuff. It was like easy access. And I was able to work somewhere that provided. And I was
Yeah,
like, oh.
that's California for you. I think you go to Venice Beach, you get to see those vendors just like selling mushrooms by the street. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and also they kind of label or like market them as like a therapeutic experience, which is true. And I love that marketing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because like a lot of old people don't know what they are, and if you just explain it to them, like, you know, just kind of put them at ease, it's not like the drugs that you've been, you know, it's not a propaganda, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and that's what we can hit on first. And I got to meet a mushroom therapist, and I was like, "What, bitch?" I was like, "You do mushroom therapy?" I was lit. I was
Yeah,
excited because it was her profession. She does this, and so I was able to see that there's a whole community, there's a whole universe, cosmos out there that over in California, it's all up and down. They have conventions, and it's not like illegal. The illegal side, it's all legal. So there, like you said, there are arenas where people have the therapeutic aspects of it, and they can tune them into it, and they're able to ease their minds about it, because like you said, the stigmas around mushrooms, when there are so many different types, so many different
exactly.
experiences that you can have, some that are trippy lippy and some that are more mellow, and like they're gonna keep you and they help you mentally process life better. you
Yeah,
know
exactly. Yeah.
Let me close this up. It'll be too loud.
And also,
But
I feel like a lot of people don't understand the idea of set and setting, so they heard all the scary stories of how people freak out and just go like bananas on like psychedelics. And
mm-hmm,
I think, like it's very important to educate people how like we can avoid those incidents. Yeah.
mm-hmm. Uh-oh. That part. Okay. So even with me, let me get my volume together real quick, sorry. Even with me, I did hella research before I even started to take anything.
Yeah.
And I was like looking at YouTubes, I was watching, reading stuff, because I said, okay, because I was coming at it from I don't want to say spiritual perspective, but a self-improvement, self-growth
Yeah.
level. And I knew just from watching the documentaries that if you go into this with these expectations or these fears, you might see some shit. And I was like, look, y'all, I ain't trying to see nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I really want this for my self-expansion, my consciousness to expand and know more about me, where am I at, all that.
Yeah.
And so it literally, LSD and mushrooms, those are the two that I was doing research on at the same time. And I
Yeah.
even looked at the YouTube videos that have the LSD versus mushroom, things going on. They literally found me. Like, I wasn't looking for the person that sells it. I was in Georgia at the
Yeah.
time. This was during like COVID season, 2020, 2021. And this person literally just came out of nowhere. They had everything that I needed or needed to experience. And my very first one, mushroom, was Golden Teacher.
Damn, I love Golden Teacher.
I
Classic.
I I love Golden Teacher. It it gave me everything I needed for the first time. And if you want to delve into your experience with Golden Teacher, go ahead.
I think usually I take Penis Envy because it's like one of the strongest strain, and
Hmm.
I get that from my vendor. But I did have experience with Golden Teacher, I think twice. Um, you know, like when we're talking about the difference between, the strains when it comes to mushrooms, it's always a very subtle feeling. So, a lot of people say that cubensis is just cubensis, like they're eventually the same, but I don't really agree with that. Um, they definitely give you a different body high, and for example, certain strains I feel just like really uneasy on my stomach, and my body doesn't really react to them very well.
Hmm.
But there are certain strains where I feel like the visual is stronger than other strains, and yeah, it's like the body high is different.
Hmm.
And when it comes to Golden Teacher, first of all, it's very accessible. I think like most of the like they literally grow everywhere on this planet. You can get Golden Teachers everywhere. That's what I love about it. And you can also like grow it yourself, actually. It's not that
Mm,
hard. Yeah, I've never done it
me
before though, but
neither.
I have friends who, dabbled in that before, and yeah, I heard that it's really easy to grow Golden Teachers, and that's what I love about it. That's what I love about mushroom in general, is that they've been with us, they've been with the human history, human civilization for like just hundreds of thousands of
Yes.
years. And that's why, government they can't do shit because they grow everywhere. They grow under your couch, they grow in your garden, they grow in the forest, they grow everywhere. And, you know, it's almost like they're meant to be with us and they're meant to guide us in a way.
You saying it. Because literally that's what I had gotten into is this goes back. It's considered sacred in other
Yeah.
cultures. It's not as recreational as America and maybe other places have made it. And that's where I look to keep that correlation with it, and I'm not just out here trying to be trippy.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes I will have a good time with them if I'm having a certain activity or experience and I'm going out and I want to enhance and connect in and tune in on a different level. Okay, yeah, but it's respectfully though, you know? Because when you get disrespectful, that thing will do its thing with you. And that's what I was saying before you had came in. I was like,
Yeah.
you don't mess with the mushrooms like that. And I was telling them, I said we were gonna do this yesterday, but I was like, you don't rush the mushrooms. You gotta surrender to the mushroom vibes. If it said wait a minute, you gotta go ahead just be okay with the next day or
Exactly.
whenever
Yeah.
time allows, because it teaches you to tune into, like you said, it's everywhere. They are our teachers. His golden teacher is it changed my life, and I always remember that because I feel like it's like the main, not the main mushroom, but it's a teacher mushroom. It brings you into the mushroom energy
Yeah.
easy. You can take a big. I didn't take a whole big amount, but I took an amount that was enough to open me up to that energy of connection inside. Like I was in tears. I was feeling. I was by myself. I did it by myself. Now everybody don't need to do it by themselves on the first time. Be
Yeah.
somewhere safe. Be somewhere where you are able to like be calm and relaxed and no nothing too crazy and loud that could shake you or whatever. Because it's like a lot of things. Some people are more sensitive to that, and some people aren't. It's like marijuana.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
gonna have a different type of experience or a different type of what is that word where you can how you handle it. Everybody might handle it
People have
differently.
different reactions to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very important to point out because that's what I love about psychedelics in general as well, because they have like every single trip that you are on is completely different. It depends on your mental state, your settings, what people you are with, or if you're by yourself, and what time did you take the psychedelics. And also for girls out there, your menstrual cycle
Ooh.
also, affects this like the psychedelic
Talk
effects
about
as
that. I
well.
don't really know
Yeah.
about that. Tell me. Tell us.
I don't know. I'm not a girl. I don't have like
I mean, I know
mental
you're not a girl,
cycles
but
stuff
what you
like,
know
but
about that, I never heard that before. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
crazy. That's so.
exactly. Yeah, because a lot of people don't know that. Because like my friends told me about it one day, and I was shocked as well. I was like, wow, that's a very good point, right? I think toward the end, and that's what they told me. Toward the end of the menstrual cycle, you tend to be more like sensitive to psychedelics, and they do different things to your brain. And also, like, I always think about this, like the lack of study on this matter is also what kind of bedazzles me sometimes. It's like we wanna like just delve into this shit, you know? It's important because like sooner or we, sooner or later we gotta embrace psychedelics, and you know, I think it's just a very important thing to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah, that goes into like the how they used to, or still in some cultures, utilize it as like a what is that, initiative or initiation type of process into being, into becoming, who you are meant to be in society. In those societies, that's what it was, and that's what it does for a lot of people. And a lot of figures that are out, they have been through these processes, but they don't talk about it,
Yeah.
especially in America. LSD and it's like Silicon Valley. You heard about that?
Mm-hmm.
And what they do to tap into these new ideas and aspects and frequencies, they doing it. But they don't really talk about it because of the secretness about it all.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about the US government is that whenever it comes to the matter that they don't know what the influence they'll bring to the mass populace, they'll just classify them, which is a very lazy way to deal with this, you know, especially when it comes to psychedelics back in the 1970s. Um, you know, they just put a cold turkey, they just cut it. They just think it's a line that's clear as a whistle. We cannot touch psychedelics as well and just label them as substance one drugs, which is like so lazy and so irresponsible because, you know, I mean, I'm very glad that nowadays we gradually realizing that they do have like therapeutic effects and they can literally reverse like certain mental illness, for example, like addiction,
Period.
you know.
Let's
Yeah,
talk about
yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just
it.
something that I think about a lot. And I don't like I don't know why we're jumping topics so fast because I feel like my mind is going everywhere, but I really want to bring up this thing is that I don't like when government like classify those topics. At least I like we want to talk about it freely,
Mhm.
and also like a lot of people do need them, you know, mentally and
Okay.
physically they do need them.
And let's hit the government and then we hit mental health and stuff. So with that government aspect, I'm there with you.
Yeah,
That it's a sense of control.
exactly.
When you have these people in a docile mind state, you can do what you want. And those who are aware, they use it to stay above.
Hmm.
And that's the fucked up shit about it. And it's already coming out. People know that's what these avenues of therapy are making it more accessible, which is wonderful. But even in the 70s and stuff, they were still doing it. They would find their way to get them out to the people. That's where you had the hippies, out there smoking weed and doing mushrooms, but they thought they was
Sure.
all crazy, but they was really more sane than the rest of them. That was the ones trying to be against the wars, in the peace fight for the, but they knew what those people were on, and they were like, if everybody had that and was less afraid of it and knew what it was for, they would see clearly what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, word up.
And that's what they don't want to happen. But it don't matter what these people want. They dealing with something that is infinite. First of all, let me.
It is infinite. Yeah, it's like exactly. Do you want to dive into that? Why is it infinite?
Yeah, this is plant medicine in my eyes. Plant medicine is connected. These plants, these trees, nature is alive, very much so. I always go back to that movie, The Avatar, with the blue people.
Yeah.
How they reverence Earth is how once upon a time we on Earth did, and some people still do. and have that connection. But there's been such a disconnect. Mushrooms bring you back in tune with that aspect of yourself and the world around you. And if that happens, those people who are, trying to pull the strings, they can't do what they want. And so that infinite part wakes up once you start it. It can be microdosing. I'm all for microdosing is just as wonderful as doing a big dose, because you are tapping into yourself, to your infinite aspects. You can unlock these aspects of yourself that were blocked from with anxiety, depression, because these things are blocks. And mushrooms and other psychedelics, but mushrooms, they clear, they help you see yourself. That's why some people are afraid at first, because you are going to face who you are. Hands down.
And a lot of people are not ready for that.
They're not. They're still under that programming. That's, next part. Matrix, okay? Just like the movie, red pill, blue pill. One is a mushroom, one is the other one. The one that doesn't, you know that song called White Rabbit by
White
one
Rabbit.
pill makes you larger, one pill makes you smaller.
Ah, yeah.
The ones your mother gives you don't do nothing at all. Okay, that song is so
Jefferson Airplane,
powerful.
Right?
Jefferson, yeah. Y'all, that song is amazing to me. I said, what the fuck? Yeah. But yeah, it's just like that.
Exactly.
And what was I gonna say? When you choose to take that, what is that? The red pill, that mushy. The red reminds me of the Amarita mushroom, the big red mushroom everybody always sees. That's what I feel like it's connected to. And you opening up yourself to this unseen but seen aspect realm of yourself. As soon as you do it, you can do a little bit at a time. Don't be scared. And then, because it's going to eventually take you deeper. As deep as you want to go, it goes. I feel like LSD on the back end is a more direct, it's not really earth, but it takes you there on another level. But we can talk about that another
day. That's a very interesting topic, because that really reminds me of the concept of like Gaianism, which is like a philosophy about Earth. Like in this concept, like Earth is like an entity that we all live on, and also it has like a spiritual connotation behind that. And I really resonate with that idea a lot. I think Earth is our home, and whatever the Earth provides for us, like we should embrace them, and we should like synchronize with them, especially mushrooms and stuff like that. It's so prevalent in like different cultures across our world,
Yeah.
Especially like when we're talking about America, like we're not talking about like modern America, but like Native Americans. And I read a book which I still remember to this day. It's called Braiding Sweetgrass. I think a lot of people have heard of it.
Say it again?
Braiding Sweetgrass.
Braiding Sweetgrass.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an amazing book, and it taught me a lot about how, Native Americans and their communities perceive the earth and the nature. And it's a rabbit hole to dive in. So I don't want to expand it here, but essentially what I want to say is I think mushrooms are also life. They're also life forms, and they are much, much deeper and sophisticated than we thought they are. And now that like we have this conversation more often nowadays, and I really like how we have already brought it on the table, and a lot of people are more interested in, mushrooms or mycology, right? Yeah, and I think that's very great. That's very important.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's like we touched on the mental health and how, like, for me, I'm just gonna do a little bit. It really opened myself up to a lot of acceptance, the denials that I may have had. Like, that's why people are afraid. And as somebody who has had, what do you call it, alcoholic substance abuse in the past, addictions,
Ooh,
You
I don't know that.
see,
It's
yes,
crazy.
I thought I had mentioned it before, but you see a lot of those aspects and where they came from, why you're dealing with this, that, and the other, how to mm, address it,
Mm-hmm.
accept it, and move past it, move from it. Because I feel the bad trips or those, experiences come from you not letting go, not surrendering, moving into denial.
Mm.
I'm going on doing all this crazy stuff because you're not letting it go. Because I had someone tell me of an experience that showed them their greed. So this person's first time ever taking mushrooms, they took a big dose, a dose they weren't ready for, and they were just looking to, num 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 num,
Mm-hmm.
just taking it all in, but without respect. And so they had an experience that showed them you're being too greedy. You got this thing coming to you. You got scared. It shook them. So they hadn't took anything since. But they knew after it all, they were able to convey to me what it was that it was showing them. Because I said, what did it tell you? Like what did they, and that was exactly what I noticed. They shared that was what it was. I was being greedy with my life and just wanting to just take in, not be respectful of nature. And it goes back to nature and where we are.
Yeah.
And the lack of respect will get you a whooping from Mother Earth. Get
Exactly.
your little
Yeah.
spanking. And so that's something. Have you kind of had that acceptance denial with yourself, or like seeing these aspects that maybe could be addressed as well?
Absolutely. I think we all have a little bit of that. We've all been there before, right? Just like
Hmm.
self-denial and self-doubting. And well, that's a really good question because like I think that's what exactly psychedelics helped me a lot.
Hmm.
Um, just like, when it comes to self-denial, I think what psychedelics do is that they kind of lay off like the layers, like the um layers that you keep on your ego, and you can't really get rid of them just because of how you're going about your days and your routines done, and you really fall into your um, daily habits. Like you have your habits, you have your um, those social constructs that's confining you. Um, and I think what psychedelics are great at doing is that they really help you get rid of those layers and help you look at yourself and your ego and your soul and make you more retrospect. Like it makes you inspect yourself and you know and also visualize your self-denial. It really
Hmm.
visualizes it because you can see it. You can see it through your third eye.
Yes.
And it's
Ugh.
really hard to verbally describe it because
No, I
if you've never taken
get what you're saying.
psychedelics,
It's
yeah,
however they show you to see it, you gonna see it.
yeah, you're
You
gonna
gonna see
see it.
it. And like whether it be overwhelming feelings and these thoughts that come rushing in, or you actually seeing shit and it's talking to you. You seeing the couch move, or you seeing the wall wave at you, or you
Yeah.
gonna see
And it's
it.
more of like your closed eye visions and not even like the surroundings you
Right.
see,
Hmm.
but just like when you close your eyes, what you're seeing is not something that you get to see in the perceivable reality. I like to use the word perceivable reality because the reality that we are in physically, like I wouldn't say it's like the reality because we have all sorts of realities,
Right.
right? We have, it's also a very interesting thing. Um, and I think when it comes to like self-medicating psychedelics and use it for therapeutic purposes, like your closed-eye visions and what you see in your mind is even more significant than what you see in, the physical world.
Hmm. And that could be voices. I mean, I
It
can,
could be voices.
yeah, I
Yeah.
could, because you close your eyes and you start hearing stuff.
Yeah.
But it's nothing outside of you. Everything is coming from inside, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Coming from your brain. That's why it's so magical. Like everything comes from your brain, and it really makes you think how powerful your brain truly is.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so you want to mention some mushroom strands that you have taken, and maybe ones that are good for beginners, and maybe ones that are good for the more experienced.
I don't see it that way, to be honest. I think when it comes to strains, because you know, realistically speaking, a lot of people don't have many options because
You're
you know
right.
it's
You're
all
right.
up to what they get to have maybe in their
Or okay,
town.
maybe I should rephrase it. Maybe ones that have been um, impactful for you.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
love golden teacher.
Okay.
They're easy to get, easy to grow, and um, golden teacher is always a solid option.
Mhm.
And then penis envy is really, really strong.
Ah,
It's like
yeah.
the strongest, I
I
think.
love penis envy.
I love penis envy too, and also they look kind of
Nah.
cute. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they do.
yeah,
Like I just wrote a couple down, like penis envy and albino penis envy.
they're
These are
the
just some of the,
strongest.
yeah, those are some of my that I enjoyed or that I have had experiences on. Like albino has been very life changing. It brings like whole new perspectives on different levels.
Yeah.
And there's like just I just made like a little mini list because I do feel like some are good to if you have that access to start off on some of those. There's one called Hilly Billy. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
I think I've heard of that one. Never
It's
had it
it's
before though. Haley
it's a
Billy.
nice one. It's mellow. But don't think it's weak because it'll go left real quick if you're not careful. And there's one called Blue Meanies. You ever had those?
No, I just have like the basic ones.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm just gonna share some with
Yeah,
everybody.
go ahead.
Blue meanies, they're like giggly, kind of up. It's more of an uplifting, euphoric one, and of course you get those, introspective aspects, but it's less of a. Uh, they all deep dive, but it's not as
Hmm.
serious. I feel like it's more of the lighter ones, and like because I feel there are some that you can actually go out and function on. There's one called the Amazonian, which I've had while I was in California. It is actually a social mushroom. It is made for you to go
Very
out
cool. I
and
think I've heard of
communicate.
Amazonian.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
it's
heard good
great
things.
for. It is wonderful. I went to
Hmm.
the beach on it, and I said, "Oh my goodness, this is nice." And I could actually tell that I had a further. It furthers your desire to interact, and it also is able to if you have to public speak, it helps you to be able to calm those nerves naturally and to be able to flow with words because some mushrooms kind of keep your words on a different level and you kind of go nonverbal.
Hmm.
This one, no, you have that desire or that drive to communicate and to express yourself. So that one I found was wonderful for going out in public and to be able to naturally, even more so, be myself. If you have people, that's what I mean, like with those therapeutic forms, like that's what it can also be used for in those arenas. So if you have people who are shy or need to work on expressing themselves, like that's one. And so there's another called B plus. You ever heard of B plus?
Yeah, I
That one
have.
is great for music and arts and creativity and just to have a refined aspect of that in your life. And there's the one called Hualta, Hualta. It is all the feels. You mentioned in what you wanted to speak about is maybe we can move into that sexual experiences with mushrooms. Hualta, you get you some.
Hmm.
Okay, you will definitely see what I'm talking about.
Damn.
It's beautiful because not that I've had like the personal experience, but what it does just in yourself, you will be like, okay, we can use this tonight, or with somebody you want to embrace because it is so vibrational and uplifting, and you would want to just hug and engage with someone, because that's one of its aspects. And if you wanted to tap into more of that topic before, we close up at the end, because I know that was one you had some good notes on.
I did. Yeah, I do really want to talk about shroom sex. I just think um, it's something that everyone deserves to experience. It's so great and spiritual. I've had sex on mushroom plus Molly before, and acid plus Molly is just like the best moment in my life. I think it's hard to, delineate what really happened. Just like the strong emotional bonding and connections with the people that you really love is beyond words. And also, I want to point out that um, if you're on mushroom and you took a fairly high dose, the body high would be really strong, so it would either be really drowsy. I mean, it depends on different strains, but maybe you would feel really down and sleepy and just like take a nap, and that's harder for you to practice sex with your partner. But when it comes to being the calm down phase, so everything's more mellowed out, but at the same time you have the control over your physical body
Yes.
and you know what you're doing, then that's like the best like time slot for you to you know just like have
You had
fun and
to
experiment with your
you like
partner.
smooth sailing on that part.
Yeah,
I love it.
exactly.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just what I want to bring up.
Beautiful. Because I mean, I saw this earlier, and I mean, people don't think sex is a thing like that has an impact, and it does a you do a whole lot when you having sex. So when you are
Yeah.
in a open, expanded state, whether it be mushroom or I heard LSD is a whole different story too. But like it's just like you are tuning in on another frequency to yourself, because you know you are meeting these other versions. So it's like when you merge, you're like, woo, it's like almost a supernova type of vibe.
Exactly.
It's
It's
beautiful.
a very beautiful way to put it. I think, yeah, you synchronize with the other person's frequency or brainwave. And that's what science can't really explain yet, is that people have common experiences when they're on psychedelics. They see the same entities, especially when it comes to DMT. People, like, I think more than 90% of the people see the same entities, or at least like some either like extraterrestrial creatures or just entities talking to them. And it's not really something that the science can explain yet. And yeah, and when you're having sex with your partner, I think this comes into horizon as well. Like you're matching up your frequency, your alpha wave. I'm not really an expert in that field, but I do really resonate with that. I do really
Yeah,
feel that way.
it does.
Yeah.
You are. It's a whole lot going on, and then if you even further and tune your environment with hertz or
Yeah.
frequency music,
Yes.
which I have done a couple times, you are able to have more control, not control, but less of you is making an impact, if that makes sense. You're not interfering with a more natural flow. So have had like 432 hertz music playing because I was nervous, and I said I need to calm my nerves. I don't want to get in the way of this flow. So that goes into setting an environment. As we close, we can talk about how if you want to get started into it, if you want to move into it, set up the perfect environment that you can have the most heightened expansive experience without interrupting yourself with
Hmm.
your thoughts, your mind. So having comforting things around, things that are familiar, being with familiar people, when you're on or when you're on it with people you don't know. I've had it happen a couple times. I learned you don't just do it with random people. You don't do it with random people. And it's because it's other things going on, and
Yes.
you want to be with somebody you have some kind of awareness of, so you don't start dealing with no crazies. Because
Just as how you wouldn't trip with a random person, right?
Right.
trip with
Okay.
someone you trust or someone you can really have fun with, you
Yes.
know.
Yes. Okay, that part. Any other insights or info for people starting or wanting to get into it as we wrap it up a little bit? Because we had a great conversation today. I thought that
Yes, we
was
had.
period.
So, you want to talk about like what needs to be prepared prior
Yeah.
to,
What
using
do you? What's your
psychedelics?
suggestions? Yeah, that for the people listening.
For me, I think one things that I want to bring is that you need to have the access to a bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Okay.
very important. Like a lot of people oversee that. Like, 'cause I have friends who's taken their first psychedelics um at a festival, like a music festival, and that's not the brightest idea.
Mm,
It's really dicey. Like you don't want to end up in a panic state, and it's just really hard to manage. So usually I would recommend if you're a first timer, do it at your house or your friend's house, just somewhere you feel safe, somewhere you can just lie on your couch and mellow out, or just use the bathroom whenever you want. I think that's very important. And also, if you want to make your mushroom more potent, what you can do is you can make a lemon tech. Yeah, it's like I don't know if people have heard of that. I think a lot of people have heard of that. It's that you uh, you mix a powdered mushroom with like fresh lemon juice, and that lemon juice really resembles your stomach acid, and it pre-digests the powder, and it helps you digest the mushroom better, and it kind of shortens the period of the come up,
yeah.
and the peak also gets stronger. So that's what I'd recommend to do. Also, we've talked about the come up and the peak, but when it comes to the come down, a lot of people don't feel easy on mushrooms and also acid or just all sorts of psychedelics. I think most of the psychedelics have a calm down phase, and it's pretty long, longer than maybe alcohol or
Yeah.
weed. And what I have experience in is using kratom or L-theanine to kind of release the uneasiness on your stomach. It really helps with your stomach and just it kind of puts your mind at ease at the calm down phase. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
And I will just piggyback on like the digestive parts, which I feel like you said, people don't really think about because I've had experiences where I'm like, oh, wait a minute, and then I've come to find like I need to either don't eat for so many hours before I get
Yeah.
into it, fast, or start eating cleaner before I get into it because back in those times where they made it more of a ritual, they didn't eat.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't eating foods that could get in the way of the medicine, as they call it, to flow through the body. And the
Exactly.
stuff with the lemon, like lemon taken, and somebody Adam mentioned citrate. Is that like a citrusy type of vibe? So
Mm-hmm.
like anything like that will help it even, like you said, intensify and make it stronger. And so the impact, which is ultimately what you're experiencing, you want that to have that big impact on you. So it'll tune you in. Because like if you're over here having a stomach ache and you're dealing with this and that, you can't experience it. So that's what I've learned with even LSD. I don't need to eat. I don't need to eat anything because it gets in the way of it going through my body, and it's just like dreaming. If you're eating something
And
before
you
you
really
go to
can't
sleep, you
eat.
can't.
You
You
just
can't. And
yeah,
it'll
no.
get in the way of your dreams. So I feel like it's just like LSD and mushrooms. Like it'll impact your trip. It'll impact the journey because it wants to go straight through and it wants to take you on that journey. But if you got stuff in the way, you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Well,
Yeah.
and it can happen either way. But you want it to be an easier journey, easier ride for yourself.
That's what's really interesting because when I was tripping on acid with my friend who's not really familiar with psychedelics,
Mm.
they don't really get the idea of how I can just keep on going. I was on the moon without food for like 10 hours
Yes,
straight. Like they don't understand that. And I always tell them it's not that I don't want to eat, it's that I just physically cannot eat. It just doesn't feel
no
right. And
desire.
I really love how you said like it's kind of like in a dream state. Like you don't eat when you're dreaming, right? I mean, you
Mm-mm.
could, but like I can't really imagine that, right?
No.
So
you don't really eat. You're not eating when you're dreaming, or like when you're on sleep. You're not
we're
eating nothing, and
not
during those
eating. Yeah.
times, you're having these experiences. So if you're awake and you're not eating, you are more open to these what do you call them? Types of experiences that don't make
Mm-hmm.
sense in the regular person's life. You
Yeah.
know, you're able to see things like I went on like a 2 week fast. I'll just bring this up before just really quick. And during that, by the end of that 2 weeks, I was drinking water, tea, and like just herbal teas and water. I was so heightened in myself that if I had took mushrooms, I probably would have been on another planet. I would definitely have been on another planet doing something, talking to somebody, getting some information because you are tuned in so highly, and it's crazy. Especially during certain times at night, intuition on fleek. You getting all kinds of
Yeah. Yeah.
insights and
Exactly. I get what you
messages.
mean. Yeah.
Subconscious on 10. You noticing stuff, you hearing stuff down the street. You like, what? Is that real?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I feel yeah, like it's important, like the diet, or what we're putting into your system, what you're engaging in as you're moving into it. If you are watching crazy stuff and you trying to watch all these scary movies and stuff on these things, you're not gonna have a nice, because you're tapping into that, and you want something clear. People
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, I want to watch this scary movie," and I'm like, not on mushrooms. I'm okay, not right now, because you're gonna make that manifest into your subconscious some kind of way if you're around that type of energy. That makes sense?
Yeah. That makes perfect sense, I think. I think fasting is just an unavoidable topic, also like in the spiritual realm and in meditating, because in Indian and Chinese culture, fasting is just like a necessary step in meditating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that must have had something to do with psychedelics as well. 'Cause psychedelics, having psychedelics, like the way of how it's like it helps you meditate as well,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like a different format of meditating, I think. Yeah.
And I agree. It helps you have more
Yeah.
clarity, for sure,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
your ability to sit still, and like food is. If I was to have it my way, I would not eat. I would just drink water all the time, herbal teas, because I see the benefits of not eating. Your organs are alive. They relate to different things in your life and have correlations to different aspects. And when you don't eat these things, and then when you don't eat, plus putting things in your body that turns it on, makes it more electric, like lemon juice
Hmm.
or minerals that give you the circuitry. Just I'm gonna give an example. Your liver is connected to your dreaming state. So when you are detoxing and your liver is clear, your dreams are gonna be on lucid level. Lucid without the LSD. Okay, you gonna be from experience. I'm speaking
Hmm.
next level, and it just when you incorporate these things like shrooms and LSD, it just enhances where you're going even more, what you're looking to do. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, amazing. We could go on forever.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think just like when it comes to fasting, it's like the secret to longevity, I think.
It is.
I watched an interview the other day about a lady explaining how she lived past 100 years old. And I think what she said is that you only eat till you're like 80% full. You don't, you just don't eat like crazy, you've been saying. I think that's a way of fasting as well. Just, because not eating food could be healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the intermittent fasting, meaning like don't eat till like maybe I haven't eaten yet today. So I
I haven't
haven't.
eaten it
Yeah, and I was like,
yet.
I want to
Same.
eat before, but I'm like, nah, just get it out the way. Let's do this first. Your food can wait. So, and that's another thing that it could teach you is like you don't really just need these things like
Yeah.
that. The food is physical, because it's blocking. It gets in the way of me thinking. So I just was like, we don't need it right now. I want to be clear. That's really what I was like, I'm good. We don't need to go over there and get no food right now. We're good. And that's amazing that you two had the same like notion, like, we'll wait, you know? Because it's not, it's almost like with the Matrix and how the food wasn't really real. And then the guy, he was like, oh, it tastes so good, but it's not, you know, not really there.
Damn.
When you don't eat, you're clear.
I never thought about it this way. Yeah, it's a very interesting narrative.
Yeah.
Food is not real. Our body's not real.
Oh.
What we're seeing is not real.
Look, we're gonna have to,
we're
escaping
the Matrix right now.
We're gonna have to bring it back on another episode because we could go on. Yeah. We're gonna have to keep it on a note. We're gonna tag on that next time, and we're gonna close it up. I appreciate you for coming in because I gotta stop it because I keep talking. We'll keep going.
We can keep on going for like fun, I guess.
For real, I appreciate you. And so we're gonna close it and wrap it up. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for inviting me. Those who are here, who are coming, who are gonna be here, who are gonna be listening. We're gonna have it on Spotify. We're gonna have it on YouTube too. I'm gonna post it on YouTube. Yeah, we're gonna post this on YouTube.
I'm gonna be YouTube famous soon.
Period. Okay, that part. That's the whole goal. It's like that's what this platform is gonna be for, to like give people a space to speak and then open up their own way for speaking to more people. You know what I'm saying? It's not just going to end here. People need this information. And we all hold such a wealth of information in our lives. Yes, I'm glad everybody's enjoying it. We all have something to share. And so that's what we're going to do. All 2024 and beyond, okay? We're going to be talking. We're going to be letting people know. We're going to be destroying these little... these things that people got going on, trying to hold the information, gatekeeping stuff. Okay, we talking about it.
2024, new season. Stay tuned.
Hey, I know that's right. Okay, y'all, I'm going to cut it off. Y'all have a great day. We'll talk to y'all later.
Have a great day, guys. See ya.
Bye.